Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page, at which I talk about common sense. But I try to keep it down at the nitty-gritty under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, there's something very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT. Listener's discretion is advised. Now, going down the rabbit hole, not up your asshole. I played both games. And of course, it's very two different games, okay? They have similarities, but that sounds like an oxymoron in a way. But of course, if you have any comments, questions, insults, or even roast fest, you put it down below. I will give you my perspective of both of these games, and I will talk to you for less than 10 minutes instead of giving you the rundown with elaboration with all the tiny little details. I'll just get straight to the point, okay? So we're going to talk about Elden Ring. The pros and the cons with Elden Ring versus, Zelda and Tears of the Kingdom. I'm going to talk about one topic at a time, so we'll go down the list, okay? The first thing that comes off the top of my head when I play Elden Ring is basically the graphics is definitely superior, okay? Definitely superior, but you may want to argue the fact that Zelda is using kind of like a cell shaded, so you might want to debate that. I don't know if you want to debate that, but it's more hardcore to have Elden Ring's graphics. So I will give the graphics a point to Elden Ring, okay, because this is very dark. The Dark Souls, okay. I'm not really a big fan of the difficulties in Elden Ring and Dark Souls type games that I've played in my past years. But of course, I would recommend that you make the decision yourself once you play both of the games, okay? Now, the graphics, as I said before, I give it to Elden Ring. And of course, the story also goes to Elden Ring. So now Elden Ring has 2 points now. Now, the simplistic story of Zelda is very easy and to digest, okay? It's easy and not confusing. There's not a deep lore with Zelda, but Nintendo's not about all the time about deeper lores. You should know that. It's mostly about family and casual gaming with Nintendo, okay? And Elden Ring, however, their story is very dark, and it goes deeper than expected, so you'll be confused, going twists and turns of the story, and you won't be able to get familiar with a lot of different things and elements in the game, okay? And of course, so far we have Elden Ring with 2 points now. Now, the next thing is control, okay? I look at control as the fundamental value of how well a character is played. Do you have a... Get out of here. What is it? What do you want? Yeah, I have food. No, you go downstairs and wait, okay? No food for you. Now, okay? Now, when it comes down to control, I need my character to be perfectly tidied up, okay? Nice control moving around, and both of these games don't get any points for that, okay? But the simplistic way of playing for both of these games is that there's a delay in Elden Ring, okay? And there's not a delay in Zelda. I don't like the ragdoll effect. I do not give neither of these games a point when it comes down to tight controls. Though you can parry much more easier in Zelda, and Elden Ring could be a much more difficult thing to do, okay? Alright, so none of them get any points for that, okay? I do not approve of the control scheme in either of them. Though it's easier to play with Zelda, okay? I do not give it a great point. I analyze games by giving them points for if it's doing something very good, okay? So the next thing I would say, to come off the top of my head, now I didn't write this down, is the fun factor. Now, Zelda has it hands down for the fun factor. The geeks and the nerds and the fanny boys will always choose Elden Ring because of the difficulty spike, but that's obvious, okay? So Zelda gets a point there because of fun factor. Families can play, even kids who are a certain age can play Zelda. Elden Ring is very bloody, okay, all right? It's very mature, okay? And since the control is all fucked up for both of them, okay, even though it's easier to play with the control with Zelda, I prefer to give a point for the fun factor overall for Zelda, okay? So the next one is, the next point goes to, you want to say creativity. Now, the thing with Elden Ring has no creativity, no puzzles, things that you can think about. You can't build things like in Zelda. Zelda, it gets a point for this, guaranteed, because of the creativity. You'll be exploring and putting things together with the magic fist, okay, I call it, okay. And of course, I'm not a nerd to remember every little detail. I'm a veteran gamer, and I have no time to remember every little detail and aspect of anything. But so far, both of them are tied now. So the fun factor and also creativity goes to Zelda. Now, the next thing I can think about off the top of my head now, so far both of them are tied, and they don't get a point for control character, okay, you know, it's not tight enough, okay, issues, okay. The next thing I would give a point to, I would give it to Zelda when it comes down to, you know, beating the game. As I said before, the fun factor and talking to characters, there's a whole list of things I'm thinking off the top of my head. I did not write this down now. Okay, there is so much more to do, more activities to do, more things to search for. So extra 2 points for Zelda because there's so many more things to search for, way more than Elden Ring. So you'll be searching for things. It's kind of like a grind. All games have a grind, but 2 extra points for creativity and also finding a lot more items. There's a lot of combinations. There's a lot of creativity when it comes to the elements. There's some things that you have to think about. There's puzzle elements in Zelda, so I'm pretty sure you see the lead is going with Zelda here. And as I said before, because of the fun factor, it's not as fun to play. And there's a lot of fanny boys who like the Dark Souls, okay? You know, I like difficult games. Okay, I even played this one game, okay, which was what was it called? I think it was called Outspoken or Forbidden or something. Mortal Shell. Yeah, I played Mortal Shell. It was like a Dark Souls type game, but you don't want to be bogged down with stress. And even though I looked everywhere to play that and different weapons, it was just so, when you die, and that's another thing too. There's an extra point that goes to Zelda because when you die, they start you back to a point like Sekiro. Okay, Sekiro's Shadow. I played that, and that game is actually more difficult. I'm going off a tangent here now. Sekiro, Shadows Die Quiet is definitely harder than Elden Ring. You can grind away in Elden Ring and find all the weapons you want, but it's not a lot of puzzles. And as I said before, you have to save. You must remember to save. You don't have to do that with Zelda now. This is what gives an extra point. So this is 5 points for Zelda and 2 points for Elden Ring. Though I played all of these games, I recommend people should play the Zelda, Legend of Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom. It is the overall grand clad winner game. And so when you have apples to oranges, there will be fanboys who will say Elden Ring is better than Zelda. That's because that's their mindset. They like super difficult things and simple things. There's not a lot of things to do. When you're playing Zelda, there's a lot of temples you can go to, unexplored things, puzzles you must solve. It makes your mind move more than Elden Ring. Okay, and the puzzles will even teach you how to use each weapon efficiently and all your tactical skills. Elden Ring does not do this. And another thing too that Zelda has over Elden Ring, scaling these mountains, rain elements, and winter storm and tornadoes. It's crazy stuff that's going on in the elements of Zelda. There is a lot of elements of the thunder, lightning, okay, can't carry metal, lots of things to think about. All right, so there's nothing else for me really to say. Hands down, the winner is Tears of the Kingdom. It's not very a difficult comparison. If you just like difficult things, you play Elden Ring. It's a very, very sexy game. Elden Ring is a very sexy game. And that's all I really want to say about these two. So you go ahead and make a choice on that. I played Elden Ring and I've looked for weapons and it got easier as I went along. Sure, okay. But that's it. That's the cup of the tea. Okay, going into dungeons, finding secret doors. All those things are in Zelda plus more. Okay, that's the catch-22 there. There's far more what Zelda is doing, plus with the physics, than Elden Ring. Other than that, that's all I really gotta say. Because I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. You have a nice day. Peace.